Some places on this earth are simple statements, their character announced with the clarity of a single bold line. Others are more complex, their identities a dialogue, a conversation between landscape and history. And then there is Sestri Levante. To arrive in Sestri Levante is to encounter not a statement or a dialogue, but a geographical paradox, a living koan, an impossibility made real and beautiful. It is a town built on a threshold, a slender bridge of land that walks a tightrope between two separate seas, two distinct worlds. It is a place that forces you to ask a fundamental question. How can a single town possess two souls? On one side, it offers itself to the wide, open expanse of the Mediterranean. This is the Baia del Favole, the Bay of Fables. It is a grand, sweeping gesture, a theater of sun and summer life. Its long, generous beach is a stage, its bustling promenade a proscenium arch, its marina a harbor for adventures waiting to be launched. It is the face the town shows to the world, bright, energetic, telling its stories in a loud, clear, and welcoming voice. It is a place of narrative, of movement, of becoming. Then you walk 100 paces. You pass through the narrow, shaded artery of the old town, the Corujo, and you emerge into another reality altogether. You find yourself in the Baia del Silenzio, the Bay of Silence. The world contracts. The grand stage is replaced by an intimate sanctuary. A perfect, hushed crescent of sand is held in the tight embrace of ancient, pastel-colored houses, pressed shoulder to shoulder, as if sharing secrets. The water here is calm, protected, its surface a mirror for the silent fishing boats, the goats, that rest upon the shore. This is the town's hidden heart, its cloistered soul. It is a place of stillness, of memory, of being. These two bays are not merely different views, they are different states of mind, two opposing and yet perfectly complementary energies. The Bay of Fables is an epic poem. The Bay of Silence is a haiku. One is a joyous festival, the other is a quiet prayer. The miracle of Sestri Levante is that it is both. It is a town that has learned to live in the space between, on the delicate isthmus that separates the grand narrative from the intimate whisper. To truly know this place is not to choose one bay over the other, but to learn the art of walking this line, to understand the profound and beautiful tension that gives Sestri Levante its unique, unforgettable, and deeply poetic soul. Let us begin in the world of the fable, in the grand theater of the Baia del Favole. This is the bay of light and air, of expansive horizons. The promenade that sweeps along its edge is a democratic stage where life is performed in the bright, unfiltered sunlight of a summer's day. Here, the soundtrack is one of joyous, chaotic life. It is the laughter of children building sandcastles, the insistent chime of a gelatary's freezer, the murmur of 100 conversations from the cafés, the rhythmic pop of a beach tennis ball, and the distant hum of a motorboat heading for the open sea. It is a place of unabashed, unapologetic leisure. The architecture that lines this bay reflects its character. Grand, confident hotels from the late 19th and early 20th centuries stand with their balconies open to the sea, built to welcome the first waves of tourism, particularly the wealthy families from Milan and Turin who sought refuge from the industrial cities. These buildings are designed to capture the view, to embrace the openness. This bay has always been Sestri Levante's connection to the wider world, its face of commerce and welcome. This history of openness stretches back to antiquity. This wide bay was the harbor of the Roman settlement, Segusta Tiguliorum. It was a practical working port, a link in the chain of Roman maritime trade. Later, under the powerful Republic of Genoa, this harbor served the needs of a great naval power. It was from here that ships were built and launched, and from here that goods were traded. The Bay of Fables has always been oriented outwards, a place of departure and arrival, its history written in the language of commerce and communication. But its modern name and its most cherished story comes not from a merchant or a general, but from a storyteller. In 1833, the great Danish writer Hans Christian Andersen stayed in Sestri Levante during his transformative journey through Italy. He was captivated by the town, and particularly by the enchanting beauty of its two bays. He found in their contrast a kind of living fairy tale. The town's serene beauty entered his soul and found its way into his later works. His presence here was a quiet, fleeting moment, but it left an indelible mark on the town's imagination. Over a century later, in the 1950s, the journalist and broadcaster Enzo Tortora, a great admirer of the writer, proposed that this grand bay be officially named in his honor. The suggestion was embraced with enthusiasm. The name Baia delle Favole was a stroke of genius, perfectly capturing the bay's bright, narrative, almost magical quality. It was a recognition that this landscape was not just a place of physical beauty, but a place that inspires story. This literary connection is celebrated each year in the most vibrant way imaginable with the Andersen Prize and Festival. Founded in 1967, the Premio Andersen is Italy's most prestigious prize for children's literature. But the festival that has grown up around it is much more than a literary award ceremony. For several days in early summer, the entire town, and particularly the Bay of Fables, is transformed into a living fairy tale. The streets become a stage for storytellers from around the world. Acrobats, puppeteers, musicians, and street theater performers fill the squares and the promenade. Children and adults alike are invited into a world of imagination and wonder. The festival is the ultimate expression of the bay's identity. It takes the name Bay of Fables and makes it literal, dissolving the boundary between story and reality. It is a joyous, creative, and profoundly democratic celebration, a perfect reflection of the open, welcoming, and narrative spirit of this side of Sestri Levante. Now, take a deep breath and walk away from the lively stage of the fables. Pass through the cool, narrow canyon of the Corruggio, the town's main historic lane. The sounds of the bustling promenade fade, replaced by the more intimate murmur of local life. The light softens, and then you emerge, blinking, into a different world. You have arrived in the Baia del Silenzio. The shift in atmosphere is immediate and absolute. The world contracts from a widescreen epic to a perfectly composed, intimate masterpiece. Here, the sea is not a vast expanse, but a calm, protected pool of turquoise and emerald. The beach is not a long, straight line, but a gentle, perfect crescent of fine sand. The dominant sound is a profound and gentle hush, a quietness punctuated only by the soft lapping of water against sand and the hulls of the fishing boats, the cry of a single gull, and the distant clinking sounds from a single trattoria preparing for lunch. The bay is held in a tight, protective embrace by a solid wall of ancient Ligurian houses. These are the classic case torri, or tower houses, built tall and narrow to save space and pressed shoulder to shoulder for mutual support. They are painted in the warm, sun-faded palette of the region: terracotta, ochre, rose, and sage green. Their facades are beautifully imperfect, weathered by centuries of salt and sun. Their green shutters are often drawn against the midday heat, giving the impression of a town in peaceful slumber. On the sand, the traditional wooden gozzi boats rest, their bright colors and curved forms like sleeping sea creatures. This is a place that feels ancient, untouched, a sanctuary of peace. This is the historic soul of Sestri Levante. This was the original harbor, the refuge for the town's first fishermen. Its sheltered nature made it the perfect place to protect their small boats from the open sea's fury. The entire old town grew around this bay, its life dictated by the timeless, daily ritual of the fishermen heading out at dawn and returning with their catch. While the Bay of Fables became the center of commerce, the Bay of Silence remained the center of the community's heart, a place of sustenance and quiet tradition. Framing this perfect scene are buildings that speak of its history. Perched on the northern end of the bay, on the slope of the promontory, is the former Convento dell'Annunziata. This 15th century convent, with its beautiful loggia, has a dramatic history of monastic life, Napoleonic suppression, and transformation. Today it serves as a cultural and conference center, its elegant form standing as a silent spiritual guardian over the bay. On the southern side, the old houses seem to grow directly from the rock, their foundations merging with the landscape. The Bay of Silence has long been a siren call for artists and poets. Its almost impossible beauty and its contemplative atmosphere have inspired countless painters to set up their easels on its shore. Its quiet perfection has been praised by writers who found in its tranquility a respite from the noise of the world. While the neighboring Gulf of La Spezia is officially known as the Gulf of Poets, for its connection to Byron and Shelley, the Bay of Silence feels like its secret, private chapel. It is a place that does not shout its beauty, but whispers it, inviting introspection and artistic creation. It is the town's memory, its archive of light and shadow, the keeper of its quietest and most profound secrets. Between these two worlds, the fable and the silence, lies the land that both separates and unites them, the promontory. What was once a rocky island is now tethered to the mainland by the sandy isthmus upon which the old town is built. To walk up onto this promontory is to ascend into a third space, a green oasis of nature and perspective that rises above the duality of the bays below. The Parco Nelson Mandela covers much of the hill, its shaded paths winding through maritime pines, holm oaks, and fragrant Mediterranean scrub. The air here is cool and scented, and the sounds of the town are replaced by the rustle of leaves and the buzz of cicadas. As you climb higher, you reach the spiritual and historical origin point of Sestri Levante, the Church of San Niccolò dell'Isola. Founded in 1151, it is the oldest church in the town. Its location is significant. It was built when this promontory was still a true island, a defensible refuge for the early community. The church is a magnificent example of Romanesque architecture. Its style simple, solid, and powerful. Its clean stone facade with its elegant portal and triple mullioned window speaks of a faith that was direct and unadorned. To stand before this church is to connect with the earliest roots of the town, a time before the isthmus had fully formed, a time before the two bays had even taken on their distinct identities. It is the primal stone from which the rest of the town's history grew. From the various viewpoints on the promontory, the unique geography of Sestri Levante is finally revealed in its full glory. There is a moment from a specific vantage point where you can turn your head and see both bays simultaneously. On one side, the grand open sweep of the Baia del Silenzio, teeming with life and reaching out to the world. On the other, the intimate, protected crescent of the Baia del Silenzio, turned inward, cradling its own quiet beauty. It is a moment of pure revelation. You see the town not as a single entity, but as a place of perfect and beautiful balance. You understand how the thin strip of land below is not just a place to live, but a bridge between two different ways of being. This duality is also reflected in the town's grander civic and religious buildings, which are strategically placed on or near the isthmus, mediating between the two bays. The main parish church, the Basilica of Santa Maria di Nazaré, was built in the 17th century. Its grand, theatrical Baroque facade faces the Piazza Matteotti, looking out towards the Bay of Fables, a clear statement of civic pride directed at the town's public faith. Just a few steps away stands the impressive Palazzo Durazzo Pallavicini, another 17th century masterpiece that now serves as the town hall, its noble form anchoring the central point of the isthmus. The taste of Sestri Levante is, naturally, the taste of the sea. The local cuisine is a pure expression of Ligurian tradition, characterized by fresh, simple ingredients, expertly prepared. The star of the local waters is the achugu, the humble anchovy. Here, it is elevated to an art form. You can find them served alla salata, cured in salt, marinated in lemon and olive oil, or simply fried to crispy perfection. Other local seafood, from calamari to sea bass, is often served simply grilled with a drizzle of the region's excellent delicate olive oil, often made from Tacciasca olives. The flavors of the land are equally important. This is the home of pesto genovese, and the fragrant basil used to make it grows in abundance on the terraced hillsides behind the town. The local bakeries produce the quintessential focaccia genovese, a fluffy, salty, olive oil-rich flatbread that is the perfect accompaniment to any meal, or a delicious snack in its own right. The local white wines, particularly Vermentino and Bianchette Genovese, are crisp, dry, and saline, a perfect match for the seafood. To dine in Sestri Levante is to experience this beautiful balance between the bounty of the sea and the produce of the steep, terraced land. In the end, the profound magic of Sestri Levante lies in its ability to contain these two worlds within a single harmonious whole. It is a town that offers a rare choice. One can embrace the vibrant, social, story-filled life of the Bay of Fables, with its sun-drenched beaches and its celebratory spirit, or one can seek refuge in the contemplative, poetic, and timeless beauty of the Bay of Silence, with its hushed atmosphere and its deep sense of history. Many towns can offer a beautiful beach, many can offer a charming historic cove. But only Sestri Levante offers both, separated by a mere 100 paces. Its true genius, however, is not in the choice it offers, but in the line it allows you to walk between them. It is a place that understands that life needs both the grand narrative and the quiet whisper, the open stage and the secret sanctuary, the fable and the silence. To be in Sestri Levante is to exist on this beautiful, life-affirming threshold, to be constantly reminded that every story has a silent side, and every silence holds a story just waiting to be told. It is a town built on a perfect balance, a true paradise found on the coast of Liguria,